You open your eyes, and the air hurts. Your breath hangs in front of your face. The ground is hard. The fire is almost dead. And somewhere beyond the darkness, something large is moving through the snow. This is your first winter. There is no house waiting for you, no heater, no supermarket, no weather forecast warning you that the temperature will fall tonight. There is only your small group, a few tools, a pile of animal skins, and whatever you remembered to carry before the cold arrived. For most people today, winter is an inconvenience. For your ancestors, winter could erase an entire group. So how did ancient humans survive it? The obvious answer is that they were tougher than you. But that answer is wrong. Your ancestors did not defeat winter by becoming immune to cold. They survived because they learned to build tiny pockets of warmth inside a world that wanted to freeze them. And the first pocket was fire. By the time humans began moving into colder regions, fire was already far more than a lucky accident. Archaeological evidence shows controlled hearths hundreds of thousands of years old. A hearth is not simply a flame. It is a place where fire is deliberately maintained, used, and protected. That difference changes everything. Fire warms your hands. It dries wet hides. It turns frozen meat into food. It keeps some predators at a distance. And perhaps most importantly, it allows your group to remain awake together after the sun disappears. Imagine the first truly cold night. You crouch close to the flames. Smoke stings your eyes. Children sleep behind the adults, wrapped in skins. Someone feeds a branch into the fire every few minutes, because letting it die could become a disaster. Would you sleep deeply? Probably not. The fire needs fuel. Fuel must be gathered before darkness. Wet wood burns badly. Snow can hide branches. Strong wind can scatter sparks or steal heat. Winter turns fire into a responsibility. That responsibility may have changed human behavior. The Smithsonian paleoanthropologist Rick Potts has argued that human evolution was shaped not only by harsh environments, but by unstable ones. The survivors were not always the strongest. They were often the most adaptable. Adaptable means able to change when the world changes. A colder season rewards planning. It rewards memory. It rewards cooperation. You cannot wait until the blizzard begins to search for wood. You prepare before you need it. But fire alone is not enough. Stand beside a campfire with bare skin, and half of your body is warm while the other half freezes. Move too far away, and the heat disappears. Ancient humans needed a way to carry warmth with them. They needed clothing. The earliest clothing almost certainly did not look like a fitted coat. It may have been little more than an animal hide draped around the shoulders or tied around the body. But even a simple hide can trap a layer of warm air next to your skin. That trapped air is the secret. Your body produces heat. Clothing slows the escape of that heat. Later, humans developed awls, sharp tools used to punch holes, and eventually, bone needles with eyes. An eyed needle is a needle with a small hole for thread, allowing pieces of hide to be sewn together more precisely. Archaeologist Ian Gilligan has studied the relationship between climate and the development of clothing. His work suggests that fitted clothing became especially important in colder environments because loose coverings leave gaps where warm air escapes. A hide over your shoulders helps. A stitched sleeve changes survival. Now your arms can move without exposing your chest. Now you can walk farther from the fire. Now you can hunt in colder wind. Now winter becomes larger than the edge of the camp. But clothing creates new work. Someone must skin the animal without ruining the hide. Someone must scrape away fat and tissue. Someone must soften the skin. Someone must cut it. Someone must make cord or thread. Someone must repair every tear. A winter coat is not one invention. It is a chain of skills. Lose one link, and the cold finds a way in. This is where the image of the lone prehistoric survivor begins to collapse. You do not survive winter alone. You survive because knowledge is distributed across the group. One person knows where dry wood can still be found. Another knows how to read animal tracks in fresh snow. Another remembers a sheltered valley. Another is better at preserving hides. An elder may no longer be the fastest hunter, but remembers what happened during a winter that came decades earlier. That memory can be worth more than strength. What happens when the river freezes early? Where do the herds move? Which plants remain edible underground? Which caves fill with dangerous smoke? Which slope is protected from the wind? A group carries answers that one person cannot, and winter punishes ignorance. Quickly, shelter becomes the next pocket of warmth. A cave seems perfect. It blocks wind. It has stone walls. It may remain more stable in temperature than the open land. But caves are not empty houses. Bears use them. Hyenas use them. Water can enter them. Smoke can collect inside them. A deep cave may be dark, damp, and dangerous. So humans also used rock shelters and built structures. The details varied by place and time. Branches, hides, wood, bone, earth, and stone could all become building material. At some Ice Age sites, archaeologists have found patterns of mammoth bones that may have formed parts of large structures. At other sites, hearths and concentrations of tools reveal repeated occupation of protected spaces. The goal is simple: stop the wind. Keep the fire controlled. Keep bodies close. A shelter does not need to feel comfortable. It only needs to reduce heat loss enough to keep you alive. Now imagine your group preparing for night. Snow has begun to fall. 2 people return with wood. Another carries strips of meat. Inside the shelter, old hides cover the ground because frozen soil pulls heat from the body. Children are placed near the safest part of the fire. Wet clothing is spread where it can dry without burning. Tools are checked. Food is divided. No one says the word survival. This is simply the evening routine. And food may be the hardest problem of all. Cold weather increases the energy your body uses to stay warm. At the same time, winter can make food harder to find. Many plants disappear. Some animals migrate. Hunting becomes dangerous. Snow hides holes and changes familiar paths. A failed hunt in summer is hunger. Several failed hunts in winter can become death. So your ancestors looked for large packages of energy. Fat mattered. Modern people often think of fat as something to avoid. In a freezing environment, fat is valuable fuel. Your body can burn it for energy. Animal fat also contains far more energy for its weight than lean meat. This creates a strange danger. You can have a pile of meat and still starve if it is too lean. Your body needs enough fat or carbohydrates to process large amounts of protein safely. Ancient hunters may not have known the chemistry, but experience teaches quickly. The fattest parts are prized. Bone marrow matters. Brains matter. Stored fat matters. Even bones can become food containers. Break a long bone, and rich marrow waits inside. At archaeological sites, shattered animal bones often reveal how completely humans used a carcass. Nothing useful is ignored, and hunting itself becomes organized. At Schöningen in Germany, archaeologists found carefully made wooden spears associated with large animal hunting. These weapons show that ancient humans were not simply grabbing whatever they could catch. They planned, manufactured equipment, and worked with knowledge of animal behavior. A wooden spear looks simple, but making a good one requires choosing the right tree, shaping the shaft, balancing the weight, and knowing how close you can approach a powerful animal without being killed. Now add snow, add wind, add numb fingers, add hunger. Could one hunter do all of this alone? The safer strategy is cooperation. Some people track, some drive animals, some wait, some protect the camp, some process the carcass after the hunt. Winter survival is a group project, and that leads to the counterintuitive truth. The cold may have made humans more dependent on one another. The worse the environment becomes, the less useful complete independence becomes. You need shared food, shared fire, shared shelter, shared information. Even warmth itself can be shared. Sleeping close together reduces heat loss. A child between adults is safer than a child alone. A sick person can survive because others bring food. An injured hunter can recover because the group does not abandon everyone who cannot work for a few days. This kind of care is visible deep in prehistory. Some ancient human skeletons show injuries that healed over months or years. Healing means the injured person lived long enough for bone to repair itself. In some cases, that survival would have been difficult without help. Winter rewards the group that keeps useful knowledge alive. It may even reward compassion, but do not imagine that every winter ended happily. Some groups disappeared. Some children died. Some hunters never returned. A storm could arrive at the wrong time. A herd could move in the wrong direction. Firewood could run out. Disease could spread inside a crowded shelter. Survival was never guaranteed. The archaeological record is biased toward the people who made it through. You see their tools because they survived long enough to make and leave them. You see their camps because someone returned. You see their bones because the group existed at all. Behind every successful adaptation were failures you may never find. So what did the first winter actually teach your ancestors? Not that humans are naturally built for cold. Compared with many Ice Age animals, your body is badly equipped. You have no thick fur, no permanent layer of wool, no giant body covered in insulating hair. Your fingers lose heat. Your toes become numb. Your skin can freeze. Left alone and unprotected, you are fragile. But your weakness creates pressure to invent. Fire becomes external body heat. Clothing becomes artificial fur. Shelter becomes a second skin. Tools become claws and teeth you can redesign. Culture becomes a survival system stored in other people. That is the real human adaptation. Not one stronger body, a network of knowledge. And once that network exists, humans can enter environments that their naked bodies were never designed to endure. Cold grasslands, frozen valleys, windy plains, long, dark winters. Your ancestors carry warmth instead of waiting for evolution to grow fur. That may be one of the most important differences between humans and nearly every other animal. Most species adapt mainly through changes in the body across many generations. Humans can also adapt by changing behavior within a lifetime. A child watches an adult sew a hide. The child learns. Years later, that child improves the stitch. Knowledge accumulates. One generation does not begin from zero. By the time you enter your first winter, thousands of earlier experiments may already be hidden inside the tools you use. The shape of a needle, the angle of a shelter, the way wood is stacked, the order in which an animal is butchered, the route taken before snow closes the pass. Every habit may contain the memory of someone who made a mistake long ago. That is why winter is not simply a story about cold. It is a story about information. Today, you press a button and warm air fills your room. You put on a coat made from materials designed by people you will never meet. You check a forecast created from satellites and computer models. You buy food gathered from across the planet. The technology is different. The pattern is not. You still survive winter through shared knowledge. You still depend on strangers. You still live inside pockets of warmth built by human cooperation. The difference is that the fire is hidden in walls, wires, pipes, factories, and power stations. It is easy to forget how extraordinary that is. Your ancestors stood at the edge of a frozen landscape with no guarantee that spring would find them. They could not become wolves. They could not grow fur. They could not command the weather. So they changed the small world around their bodies. They kept a flame alive. They stitched skin to skin. They built walls against the wind. They shared meat. They remembered. And when the temperature fell again, they taught the next generation what to do. You open your eyes, and the air hurts. But now, the fire is alive. Someone beside you is awake. And for the first time, winter is no longer something you face alone.